to William. I be ballin'. Road to William. I be ballin'. Hoop dreams. Yeah, it's Ashley. I be ballin'. And I got my cousin William, and we're gonna review the classic movie, Hoop Dreams. I love this movie documentary. I used to like every summer watch it. I would go to the library, rent it, and I don't know if it was VHS or DVD, maybe both. I don't know. But I love this movie. It's a documentary ahead of its time. It's following two Chicago kids and their families on their journey to achieve their dreams. They're from the inner city Chicago, and they would go to the white suburb school, St. Joe's, just for basketball. And it follows them and their struggles, their ups and downs. But before we get started, want to introduce my cousin William. Got Road to William YouTube channel. Make sure you go right after this video, or put it on your list, to-do list. Go check it out. Tell them what it's all about.
Road to William. I just be chilling in my own world. I invite y'all in. We learn some things. I do interviews, movie reviews with my cousin. And come check me out. I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, same name, Road to William.
One stop shop. Go follow on Insta. Go follow everywhere. So, before we get started, what was if you could have one word to describe the movie, what would it be? Because this is a very hard question, but I'm doing a hard hitter, because it covers a lot of issues. It covers how the youth, they kind of get, used, for schools, personal basketball games, and it covers race and, economics. And they follow them for 5 years. It has 2 hours and 50 hours of footage. What's one word to describe the movie?
First word comes to mind is passion. Nothing after that comes, I think, victory.
Okay, passion and victory. Okay, passion and victory. Okay. Honestly, mine would be just trials and triumphs. Double T. It follows William Gates and Arthur Agee. It's almost like reality TV before reality TV was a thing. They won a Sundance Award, and it starts off when they're in 8th grade and they get scouted to come to St. Joe's, and you kind of see similarities between them, but you also see some different. Now, first I want to talk about the basketball part. I like all the basketball scenes, even the street, the playing on the street, also playing in high school. And there was some ups and downs with basketball, but that was definitely my favorite part of the movie. Did you have a favorite basketball scene that you liked?
There was one scene where he moved so fast, Arthur, and swooped it to the hoop. I was like, whoa, That's a hard thing to do. He had like two people on him. The basketball scenes were good and where it was engaging. Sometimes they
Uh,
just bouncing that ball. You be like, you saw they had skill. They had real skills on the court. They weren't the average.
yeah, you saw how their skin skills developed. Arthur Agee, he was like quick. He, they actually both had like nice shots, especially in the paint. I
Mm-hmm.
think William, he was more like physically developed, more stronger. But they both had that mid-range game that I liked. And I liked like the old school, um, how they showed like them watching on the TV Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas. I like the old school. They was watching it. Um, I also liked there was this they were saying, "Oh, there's one name. We might have found the next Isaiah Thomas. Look out for William Gates." He was had a cigar in his hand. But the next issue I want to tackle is the system where there was a scout that scouted Arthur Agee, right? And even he you learn more about scouts, even like the college scouts was like, "Hey, we lose our jobs if we don't win, if we don't get the best players." And you're scouting 8th graders, little kids. Sometimes you see little kids and their mixtapes, and it's like you don't know how tall they gonna be, you don't know how they gonna develop, and you giving them scholarships and all this crap. And on one side, I do think it gives them a better chance at life and succeeding at life. But on one thing, you're a commodity and you're being used, right? And you saw them both go to the same school, and one was on junior varsity, one got to varsity, and you saw some of the differences. They they kicked, Arthur Agee out the school, didn't help him get his, tuition paid, but they paid for William, and it was because William was a better player at the time and was on varsity. So you kind of see, okay, they helped one kid out, but they didn't help the other. And it's like, what are we doing here? Do you want to help them develop? You could have easily just let them develop, but no, you want to kick them out. So how do you feel about the issue of like you're getting scouted, you're getting recruited to go to the school? Even the Arthur Agee's mom was like, "Hey, I thought they would pay for everything." And even the black coach, he went to Marshall. The black coach was like, "Hey, he didn't pan out there. He wasn't doing what he was that they wanted him to do on the court, so he's not there no more." So, how do you feel about that?
It just showed me that they don't care about them for it. They don't care about them. They care about how it's gonna make them look, you know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
even though like William had better treatment too, like when it came to the coaching, like he was just a dick. Like he didn't care about it's one of those things where it's like it has to be one star, you know. Like they could have both, you know. It didn't have to be a competition. Um, but but William when he got hurt, you know, the doctors are like, you need to like rest, and the coach is like, well, go out there and play. Like, what? You're not trying to be their coach
Mm-hmm.
or their leader. You just want them on that court. And so I think it's unfortunate that because it's not even just about basketball at this point. Now you're messing with his education,
Mm-hmm.
Is and they're showing them multiple times that they don't care about them or their education. They care about what they do in that court.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, yeah, that's actually, now that I think about it, I'm reading Courtney B. Vance. He has a book. That's Angela Bassett's husband, if you didn't know. Um, he got this book out called The Invisible Ache, and I just read a part where he talked about a similar thing happened to him where he was going to, because I didn't know he's from Detroit, and he grew up around the time Detroit was going through its issues, and still is, but you know what I mean. That was like the beginning times of it when it started to go downhill, and he talked about how he was on scholarship. You know, I think it was, I forgot if it was track or something. It was something, but they were threatening him like, you got to play a sport or you're gonna have to leave and all that. So it's crazy how history just keeps repeating itself.
Yeah, it's just a bad system, and you don't know what it's doing to them, psychologically. Am I good enough? How I'm feeling used, and it was hard enough. They're going into a different environment. Even Arthur and William, they weren't confident in the classroom at first, you know? And you're surrounded by a lot of white people, so you're not like, how do I talk around them? How do I interact with them? What are they thinking of me, right? So there's a race and an education thing. And then how am I performing on the court? Maybe I can't concentrate in the classroom because I'm too busy, you know, focusing on, okay, am I even playing good enough on the court? And I think it was also bogus that they was playing with his transcripts too. Like, if you're gonna, first of all, you kicked him out, so that's messing with his education, where that's months of learning he didn't get, right? And then his transcripts came at the end of his senior year, like in the middle, and I'm like, dang, it take that long?
No,
he
it can take up to a day.
They kicked him out, what, sophomore year, and he just now getting his transcripts. I said, what? What is going on? Um, so, and you mentioned the coach. Yeah, there's some coaches. I feel like you have to know how much to push. Like, everybody can't be pushed the same way. Every good coach knows you got to talk to everybody different. Everybody got different personalities. Everybody react a certain way to. So I think part of the reason why William probably wasn't confident, well, not only it's your injury, right? He kept getting injured, but also it's the coach. It's like, dang, do you put your players in the best position? Do you instill confidence in them? Or are you taking all the confidence out of them and saying he didn't have the killer instinct? Well, maybe help him develop it. Oh, he didn't have something like Isaiah had. Stop comparing him to Isaiah. You know?
Yeah, one.
Um,
I
um,
know you play better than him. What? Whoa! He ain't saying anything. You know you play better than Isaiah. You're a kiss ass. Um, go ahead. I was about to go.
uh, let's talk a little bit about the family situation. You saw their different family dynamics. William, his father wasn't in the picture until, you probably saw your kid in the newspaper. All of a sudden, you want to do something. The mothers, oh, shout out to the mothers. The mothers was awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. William had a good big brother that also didn't make it. So I felt bad in that regard. I do like that they had a bigger brother to look up to, ball with. They talked a little bit about his brother and, in his struggles. He was not, you know, well, some people call it not being able to be coachable. But they talked a little bit about that. And then you have Arthur Agee, who he really went through struggles because you saw their lights cut off and you saw the mother getting laid off, the dad being laid off, the divorce, and the, the dad being on drugs and hitting the mama. And then you saw the conflict of the father and the son and how Arthur felt with it. He saw his dad selling drugs or probably beating on his mom. So there was it, there needed to be healing. So how do you feel about the family dynamics? Because eventually all of this is going to come out. So it's not only that you're going through this situation, but now a lot of people are going to know, right? So talk a little bit about the family dynamics. Because I know I wouldn't want, I don't know if I would want to be followed 5 years of my life, especially adolescence, and then all your family business out there. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, that's what came with that was their sacrifice in a sense, like them showing their raw emotions, seeing, anybody could have been like, just cut the tape. They didn't cut our lights off. Like, uh,
Yeah.
they didn't have to do the daddy like that when they zoomed in that one scene. I'm like, bro, just leave that area alone. Y'all know what he doing over there. I didn't have to zoom
Yeah.
in. but I think that's why they got that award though, because anybody could look at that and just, if that was them in their shoes, would give up. They
Mhm.
kept going. That's the only way to get through the heartache, the pain, is to keep moving because that's temporary. It's like a storm. And if y'all get through it together, you know, the redemption is just as sweet. Um, so I liked how they showed that dynamic. Like, every household isn't gonna be the same. So how do they deal with
Mhm.
issues that arise? How does that make them a better person? And you kind of root for them more. Like the mom said, they're like the underdogs.
Mhm.
Nobody
Yep.
was expecting them to succeed. Um, and I'm glad they all had support. They had not only their moms and their dads, their friends too, the people they hung around. Um, and it was sad. I was sad about his friend Arthur's friend Shannon because I'm like,
Yeah.
dang, we saw him too. Like he was like part of the journey as well. And he spoke so well on Arthur and his family, what he was going through, that I was like, dang. But sometimes the strong ones also need help, and I feel like he didn't really have too many people he could turn to. So I that film, it's a good film. They need more docs like this.
Yeah. It was definitely ahead of its time. It won a lot of more awards, and it's a great film to check out. I've watched it, even though I know the ending and stuff and what happened. I still be watching it, especially those basketball scenes. I be like, oh, and I think I made my mom watch it when I was younger. I was like, look at this. She doesn't really like those movies. But it's a great, even the sacrifice to every day take the train to school for a long time. That was a sacrifice. Also, I think AG's family was awesome to let someone live with you that you're not related to, and they could easily say you're on your own, but they let him in even though they're struggling. So I thought that was awesome. Oh, and when she graduated, the mother graduated, I was like, oh, that's so awesome because she worked so hard for it. But I also like how everything was different. Like William went to Marquette, right? Which is a big time school. Where Arthur Agee, he went to a community school, right? And for a lot of people don't know, there's players that go to a community college that's not really Division 1. So they go there for 2 years and then you attract more attention to eventually go to a Division 1 school, and that is what happened. They told him, I mean, they didn't show it, but they kind of said where he went and stuff, what happened.
Yeah, whatever, long as I get my paper. I'ma do what I do to get it all late. Cause I mean, I shoot it up, the three gon' make it. Like it's Kobe, nigga, we going up. Like it's Kobe, nigga, we going up, up.
It's called Hoop Reality, and it follows William, Arthur Agee. It follows him as an adult, and it also follows another basketball player that went to Marshall. So he's kind of you're following Arthur Agee, but you're also following another Marshall student. So I thought that was dope. It's not as big as Hoop Dreams, but it's called Hoop Reality. I love the old newspaper clippings. I love the 90s setting. Did you enjoy the 90s setting?
Yeah,
The haircuts.
yeah. The hair, they were fly. They were definitely fly.
Yep, the clothes, the music, the radio, the vinyl. It was awesome. And yeah, um, I also did like how you kind of saw like, okay, Arthur Agee, he kind of took the slow route. He was kind of like a late bloomer. He got to varsity as a junior. That's kind of what happened to me. I spent 2 years on JV, but eventually got to varsity. But he went further than William Gates, right? And it's okay to be a late bloomer and your skills to develop over time. I mean, imagine if William and Arthur was together. That would have been dope. I but Pingator, he wasn't very patient. He wanted now, now, now. And also as a coach, you gotta be personal. And when I mean personal, it's like the advice that he gave William about writing checks off to the girlfriend. It's like you gotta be not just a coach on the court, but a coach off the court about life. It's like, come on, dude. I'm not questioning your basketball skills, but But anyway, you want to say something?
They kept saying William shouldn't have been playing, but it's kind of like, well, if Giannis didn't get out on that court, I
You,
feel like up and down about it. It's like, yeah, but he shouldn't have been pushed this hard. Maybe get him in. Maybe I don't know. When would you put him in the game if he had an injury like that, or would you
I
even play?
so he wants to get downstate and get a championship so bad, but sometimes you have to protect the player from themselves. Like if you give the player their choice, they're gonna play all the time, 100%. You have to, sometimes you gotta involve the parents, you gotta involve the coach, you gotta involve the trainer, the doctors. Tell him no, because at the end of the day, do you want this playoff game or do you want your health? And especially playoff games. They intense. You're not just coming back in a regular season game trying to get, catch a rhythm, go slow. Like, no, it's full throttle. So,
This is
and
like one of their like our big shots, to make it out. And I think that if we had like the big three back then, do you think players would keep risking their bodies like that, or would they like kind of fall back? How do you think they do now? Do they fall back like, okay, I always got the big three and stuff like that to fall back on if I don't make it to the NBA or whatever? The G League. I mean, you got different.
that's true. Every situation and player is different, but you have to, especially knees. You got to protect those knees, especially since he had like multiple. And then if you are tugging at your knee during the game, you ain't 100%. Don't go out there, especially during warm ups. Sometimes you do a warm up before the game and you kind of contest it. And sometimes it's like, okay, you might feel good during the warm ups, but in the game, maybe you twist something, you pop out. Don't continue to play. Say, okay, the first quarter, the knee wasn't feeling right. Okay, I'm not going to play the rest of the game. But you got to lean on a village of people. Because if it's based on the player, And also, yeah, sometimes it's about money. Sometimes a player is in a contract year and they about to be a free agent. They want to play, but sometimes you have to really think because one twist, wrong turn, one hard foul, it can be over. So, rating this movie 1 through 5, what would you rate this movie? How would you rate it 1 through 5?
I say 5 out of 5 because this is my first time watching it because I've never seen it. So for me to be this engaged watching it is a good thing. It got all the elements, music. It got family, love, triumph.
Mm-hmm.
You know how to overcome real
Yup.
situations. And I liked how like even seeing later on in their lives, like they didn't fail. Like they didn't fail in life.
Right.
That was their learning points. That we got to see. So 5 out of 5 for a good documentary. I like a good doc.
Yeah. You know. Um I definitely give it 5 out of 5. It definitely has every element, every theme. Obviously basketball, it's entertaining, but you saw it's like a coming of age movie. You saw them grow up and they didn't lose because they got an education. That's what you mainly want. Like especially parents. Like getting to the league, it's so hard to get to the NBA, but sometimes you don't have to end up in the NBA. Sometimes you can get paid lots of money playing basketball overseas. You know, and sometimes it's all about just getting an education for free. Okay, someone's giving me a scholarship for free, and I'm taking the scholarship, right? I may not make it to the big leagues, but maybe I attract overseas teams. Maybe I'm going to use this major and this education I'm getting for something else. So I love the film. It talks about racism. It talks about, the white school, the black school. It talks about, the underdogs, and the top dog. And it goes through the teachers, the coaches, the parents, the families, education. It talks about the moolah. Um, I like when he was at ABCD camp. But yeah, I love the Marquette element. They was in the Bradley Center. They even mentioned multiple Bucks that had their jerseys retired there, like Junior Bridgman, um, Sidney Moncrief. They was in the Bradley Center, but it's no more. They, you know, they got the fight reform now. But the fact that he went to Marquette was awesome, and it, it kind of shows you Marquette could have easily said, "Yo, go," but they still let him stay and keep his scholarship education. A lot of teams wouldn't do that. Like, okay, you're not gonna play ball for us, okay, bye. You know? But I'm just saying, I'm just keeping it real. That's what happens. That's what happens. But yeah, it shows you the in and outs of the basketball world as well. And yeah, I love the movie. Love the movie. I would give it 10 out of 10. How about this? I give it a 7. 5 plus 2 more. Yeah, but go check Hoop Dreams out. I'm sure you could go to your local library and rent. I don't know. Do they still do the DVD thing? I don't know. I haven't done it in years, but find it somewhere. Hoop Dreams. It's a classic, especially filmmaking. The narrator did great. I love the scenery. You saw the hood. You saw the white suburbs. The fact that they was like, oh, clean hallways, grass. I'm like, that just shows you what it is. And I love how, huh?
It's free on Pluto TV
Okay, got the plug. Free
with
99, no excuse.
with ads.
You can always do something, clean around the house during that commercial, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I love it, love it, love it. Make sure you guys go check it out. It's a must see at least once. Go. And thank you guys. Make sure you guys go to Road to William, like, comment, and subscribe to both of our channels.
Oh,
We always doing it big. We going up, going up. God did. Hey, it's a Sunday, yo. Peace. I learned that William Gates and Arthur Agee both are doing a podcast together called Hoop Dreams on YouTube, so go check that out. Also, I learned they both have clothing lines. So, William Gates' clothing line is HD22, while Arthur Agee's clothing line is Classic HD basketball clothing. So, and I went to their website and they got some dope t shirts, got some dope hoodies, you know. So, go check that out. They both got kids and they're both coaching their kids in basketball. Also, I learned William Gates, he went to Bible school and became a preacher, moved his family to San Antonio, and, you know, he had like 3 sons and they all play basketball. Oh, I also learned great news. There's going to be a Hoop Dreams 2, and it's going to be about what they're doing with their lives now. There's going to be some other characters. I think William Gates' son is going to be in it. Maybe Arthur Agee's son. Also, what else I learned? Oh, and it's going to be talking about how, you know, Hoop Dreams became big with pop culture and movie culture. And it's going to be following their families and talking about their loved ones that, you know, have passed. And also, what else did I learn? Oh, and I don't know if this is, you know, accurate, but I read a 2021 article that there's going to be a Hoop Dreams TV show, and with one of the creators named Lena W. She does The Shy and the TV show Them. So I don't know if that's still in the works, but I wouldn't be surprised because Hoop Dreams is big. But I just wanted to give you guys a little update of what I learned. Make sure you guys follow them. I'm gonna follow them on Insta. I already followed them on, you know, Twitter, which is where I found some of this information, and of course Google. But yeah, stay ballin'. Continue to watch. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.